Greetings and welcome back to episode 2 of Surviving Mars. Our first Martian colony, founded by Earth's handsomest politician, has been established. At least it has, in a robotic sense. Our colony ship, our cargo ship, the Arthur Dent, stands there in the background, silhouetted against the rugged landscape of our colony site, picked by our handsomest politician pretty much at random, as we take this scenic route past the Heart of Gold, our remote-controlled explorer, and on towards our colony quite slowly, it seems. I don't think there's any way of actually speeding up this pan, unfortunately. Our research has been completed. We have no active research, apparently. We've been researching like crazy. What else can we queue up then for some research? I guess we'll want fuel compression, rocket, yeah, let's do that. Increase cargo space. If we decide to bring the second rocket in before bringing in passengers, then it would be handy to have a bit more stuff there, a bit more thing. New building farm, could do that. We do have like hydroponic farms that we can build straight away. Low G drives, drones and rovers move 25% faster. It's not that interesting really, is it? I mean, at some point we want to advance the robotics tree, but possibly not just yet. Extractor upgrade, amplify, increases production by 25%, but also increases power consumption by 10%. Let's go for that. There we go. I think that's good. That's a good thing to have. Anyway, let's continue our very slow zoom across the Martian landscape. I've slowed it down to regular time. We're no longer at like super fast time. Wow, look at all these rocks. Who decided to make their colony around here? I mean, look at these rocks. It's an asteroid coming down in the background, crashing in to the Martian surface, presumably creating a new crater. I mean, I don't think actually a crater is created, but, you know, I mean, it would create an actual crater. But I guess that sort of terrain deformation might make for a more difficult and indeed trialsome game. So that's not what happens. Anyway, look, we're gonna swoom here. We're gonna zoom here across this Martian terrain, and there's the big reveal of our colony site. The Arthur Dent,
anomaly
just
found.
sitting there like a giant aubergine or eggplant, depending on what part of the world you're from. Sitting, looking out into the sky. The handsomest politician is up there in the control seat, waiting to give orders and things. Our concrete extractor has begun work, as you can see. We've also got our first wind turbines have been completed and are generating power from the weak Martian winds. Fortunately, they're like super advanced. I don't know what you would call them. Helical designed. Wind turbines, so they're able to generate power even in the incredibly thin atmosphere of Mars. Likewise, our super efficient solar panels are extracting all of the powers from the weak sunlight that makes it here to this distant world. I think this is probably enough zooming slowly across the ground. Let's zoom out and see how things are going. Our batteries are being constructed. We can check our colony resources. We got loads of spare power during the day once we've got both the wind turbines and the solar panels going. We've got metals, we've got concrete. Things are happening. Things are starting to happen. All right, let's go straight for a water extractor. Here we go. Water extractor right here on this watery resource. We'll I guess we can like that. Right there. That's a pretty good place. It just needs to be near this. It doesn't need to be right over the top of it, and you can place several around close to them. Of course, we need somewhere to store the water that we extract, so let's get some water tanks just tucked in here. Somewhere there, but kind of, I mean, again, I'm not sure if this is really modeled. I don't know if this really sort of like pays attention, but they're kind of slightly protected from asteroid strikes here, as indeed are we in general, being sort of like down inside this basin here, because like one's coming in very sort of oblique angles will hit the perimeter walls. It also means the sun goes down slightly earlier than it would if we were out on the surface, but yeah, you know, these are just the prices that you have to pay. Alright, we've got 2 water towers. I'm sure that'll be more than enough for the time being. Let's have this come out here. It's also just going to have to cross across here, so we'll go across like this, like that. There we go. Perfect. Absolutely pucker. We need to connect this one up as well. So pipes are needed for oxygen and water, both of which, of course, are very important for your average Martian colonist. That's going to be ugly. That's just going to be ugly. I can't have that. I can't have that. I can't have ugly things. Like, I mean, we will inevitably end up with some ugly connections, but where I can, I'd like to avoid them. Like that. I suppose that's okay. I mean, it does mean we've got two of these like stanchion things right next to each other, but it's better than the alternative of having that horrible triangle. I mean, what was that? The handsomest politician up here, he would not be impressed with that kind of shenanigans from his drones. As cute as they are, as immensely cute with their little faces, just kind of like trundling along, little faces, little eyes. He's carrying some metal that he's extracted from like a surface deposit. He's going faster than my camera can, bless him. He's also going underneath the ramp because he's that sort of daredevil. I mean, proper daredevil. I really wish I could hold shift to speed up movement when I'm zoomed in close like this, because he just moves so painfully slow. Trundle, 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 as my drones scamper about using their little hands to build the pipes and things that we will need to store that water. Alright, let's zoom out, because I don't want to waste water. Oh, they haven't actually built the extractor yet, but we will need to connect it up to the power grid as well. So let's extend our cable all the way here to connect up. I hope that connects up with it. Does that connect up with it? I'm not entirely sure, you know. Well, we'll find out when this builds. We'll find out. I mean, if we need to, we can always go like that. There we go. That's bound to work. That is bound to be hooked up successfully in the end. Alright, so we've got water coming. And in addition to water, we're going to want fuel being generated so that we can start refueling the Arthur Dent here and return it to Earth to pick up more cargoes, or possibly even our first passengers. So for that, we're going to want a fuel refinery. Fortunately, we can build these now. We actually do have a flat pack one of these. I don't know if we're still going to get to use that, seeing as we've researched the tech to build as many of these as we want. Let's have our fuel refineries over here. It's quite close to the ship, you know. It's good. It'll work. It'll work right there. We'll need power coming down. So let's have power. That, and also pipage, of course, to bring the water in, which we will split to turn into rocket fuel. Split it into hydrogen and oxygen, and thus we will have the rocket fuel that we need to send the Arthur Dent back from whence it came. We've discovered some more anomalies, so let's get the Heart of Gold out, searching those anomalies and discovering what they can. Also, I'd quite like to build, to speed up the process of scanning, let's build a sensor tower. We can whack it right up here on the hill, right there in that little nook that we created, obviously specifically for the purposes of building a sensor tower. It's up high, it's kind of central, it should speed up the scanning of all the sort of like nearby zones and stuff around here. So we should start discovering things thick and fast once that little baby comes online. Good. Well, we're just sort of waiting. I guess I can speed up time again here. We're just waiting for the fuel refinery to be constructed. We should also map out our oxygen generation, and we should also drop down this drone hub actually, in case we do decide to launch our ship back. The ship does come with like a drone controller. That's why our drones are operating. But ordinarily, we need to maintain this kind of like zone of control over our drones so that we can deliver things and repair things, and that's what drone controllers are used for. The domes can also generate their little zones of control here as well, but we can pop this up here, as that still gives us, look, that gives us coverage of most of the important stuff. Let's do it. We're going to pop it up there. I quite like the idea of building up here on this little rise. It's gonna be like prime real estate. Everyone's gonna like being up there and looking down on everyone else. It's just gonna be great. Apparently this is not hooked up to power. It looks like it's hooked up to power. Oh, it's because this hasn't been completed here yet. That's fine. Did they just say research? Breakthrough discovered. Vector pump. Wow, what's the vector pump? Where do I find it? And how do I build it? I don't even see it. It must be over here somewhere. Vector pump? Vector pump? I don't know. What is the vector pump? I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody even cares. All we need to do is send the Heart of Gold on to the next research, more interesting site to discover what it can. I can't get over how cool this landscape is, though. Look at this. Look at this. We can build something down here, right down here, like hidden away, some kind of secret military research outpost or something.
Vehicle battery low.
I don't know if you can build military research outposts or not, but if you can, then we will. It looks like the Heart of Gold is running low on battery power. We need to get it back to our electrical grid to charge it up. So once it's completed its scan there, we'll bring it back and hook it up over here. All right, we need to get Moxies under construction so that we can start generating and storing some O2 for our initial batch of political
research complete.
Colonists.
Anomaly analyzed. Sector scanned.
Wow. Okay. Loads of stuff has happened all at once. Fuel compression research complete. Gained 1,000 science. Low battery power. Right, you Heart of Gold. Come back here. Let's slow things down a little bit. We'll get some Moxies up, I think. So we need a kind of an oxygen production facility somewhere. I guess over here is as good as anywhere. I mean, it's not as... maybe over here, on the other side of the dump. There we go. That'll do. That'll do us. We'll get 2 Moxies built initially. Get some pipage coming down. That can go to there, that can go to there. Oh yeah, that's a beautiful connection. Beautifully hooked up. We'll get some O2 tanks. I guess we'll have some just here next to the Moxies that we can set them diagonally on either side of this bit of pipe. That there. That there. Look at the pipe work up. It's not going to be neat. This one, there we go. That's neat. And indeed, there. Oh, perfect. Perfect! Oh, you couldn't have designed it better, even if you had actually thought about it in advance and, you know, tried to make it look pretty, which we totally didn't do. We've got a power shortage. Our current power generation is not sufficient for powering all of the many things that we have built, so let's get a couple more solar panels. I guess we can get one there and one there. A little field of solar panels. Extend our cable slightly in case that one doesn't go far enough. I'm a little bit wary about building too many wind turbines early on because they require machine parts for maintenance, whereas these don't require anything apart from metals, which we can find on the surface. The batteries do require polymers, which is another resource we're going to have to bring from Earth until we can start creating it here, but this is the challenge. This is our great mission, to become self-sufficient before we run out of money, basically, before we get to the point where we can't afford to bring supplies in from Earth anymore, because, you know, at that point things just start going seriously downhill. Starvation happens, things break and can't be fixed, colonists get really very unhappy indeed, and then a meteor storm comes along and smashes all of your stuff to smithereens. But, you know, no one ever said colonizing Mars was going to be easy. I think I might bring in the second shuttle straight away, you know, because if we order up our second ship, then, like, we're already generating fuel, right? So the other dent can go back when it's refueled, and probably by that point we'll be in a position where we'll have a dome built, we'll have some buildings built, everything will be looking a lot more promising for establishing a human presence. But if we send our second rocket, which is going to be a cargo rocket, and obviously we're going to have to rename to the Ford Prefect. There we go. The other dent of the Ford Prefect. Right, what we want an RC transport, because this is going to allow us to rove about on the surface and collect more distant metal deposits from the surface and bring them back. Plus it allows us to kind of, in emergencies, shuffle resources around and generally stay on top of things a little bit. We're also going to need more of all of these things, so we might as well bring some more now. More machine parts, more polymers, more electronics. We probably want some more drones as well, so let's bring another like 6 drones. Prefab buildings, we've got water, which is fantastic, so we don't need moisture evaporators. We probably will need another drone hub at some point, so let's bring one more drone hub to allow us to sort of extend our research, reach, our drone control reach further into the field. I don't know about any of the, we are going to need all of these three things. Let's get a machine parts factory. That can be like the first thing that we'll try and become semi-self-sufficient for, and then we'll kind of worry about these other two things later. But our first dome will have a machine parts factory in it, which will reduce our reliance on Earth. Not eliminate it, but it'll reduce our reliance on Earth. We should also bring, as we've got a bit more space, we could bring a few more polymers, a few more machine parts, a few more electronics. Let's bring a few more electronics. And a few more polymers. There we go. And another drone. Perfect. We are fully loaded up. The Ford Prefect is ready for launch. Our second cargo rocket is dispatched from Earth on Sol 5. Now, they're very quick, and/or Sols aren't actually. I mean, Sols are Martian days in the sense that it is a day-night cycle that we see here, but it also seems to represent a considerably longer period of time because, as you can see, look, it's already 2% of the way. From Earth, 3%. It's only going to take like a Martian day or two to get here, so something ain't right with that. Either these are like super fast rockets, or there's some kind of time dilation effect going on. All right, we are building out our capabilities here. Our MOXes are under generation at the moment, under construction at the moment by our little. I just love these guys. I could spend all day watching these guys trundling about, doing their jobs, doing their business. Let's close that. We don't need to see what the other dent's doing. We'll just keep track of this particular drone. I wonder if I can rename individual drones. Can I rename? I can totally rename individual drones. I can do it. Wow. Okay. I need name suggestions for my drones. I mean, we're gonna have a lot of drones to name, and I'm not sure I can name them all. But a few key drones, it might be fun to name. I can change the skin. Has it changed them for all of them? It changes them for all of the drones. Okay. Well, let's go for these. Let's go for these nice little blue, purpley type ones. That's a good color. That's a good color for a drone. Yeah, names for drones, please. That would be good. It's a shame I can't individually change skins, so I can keep track of. Oh, I see. You can change them for the drone controller. So all of the drones that are under the control of the Arthur Dent at the moment are kind of this blue color, and the white drones are being controlled by Drone Hub. It's just called Drone Hub. Can I rename Drone Hub? I don't think I can rename Drone Hub. It's just Drone Hub. As uninspiring a name as that is, it cannot be changed, and therefore we're just going to have to live with it. It's just the way of things. It's the way of the Force. Let's speed up time and get these things constructed. We've also got the Ford Prefect on its way. Look, it's already nearly 20% of the way from Earth. We're approaching nightfall, which means we're going to lose some of our power generation. Power surplus is currently 0.7%. I don't know. We're still generating power off the solar panels here. So when the sun goes full down and we lose that power generation, we will of course be in power deficit, which means some of our operations might shut down. But at this point, it doesn't really matter. I mean, there's nobody here. A few automated devices may have to go into sleep mode overnight. Look, there we go. Minus 9.3. Although we've got our batteries. Look, our batteries are charged up, so they'll probably keep things going throughout the night. This is why we have batteries. This was the whole purpose in building them. The Heart of Gold needs to be sent forth to do more interesting stuff. There might be, you never know, there might be an anomaly over here next to this massive, great big rocky hill. It's not really a mountain. It's a rocky hill. It's something. It needs a name. We need to name all of these kind of like landforms as well. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Obviously, I probably should go back and reread the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and the many other books in that series in order to get some ideas for names for
Sector
things.
Scan.
Oh, we didn't bring power down to the Moxies. Hold on. Just reordered the Heart of Gold there. Let's bring power cables down. We can bring them down underneath the pipes. That's nice. That's nice, isn't it? That's nice and neat. Keeping the pipes. It does mean you've got a single point to be struck in order to lose both power and pipage. So if we get an asteroid strike on that spot, it probably means it's not a good idea going forward to combine them. As neat as it is, and as organized and ordered as it is, it does create more vulnerability. We don't have the redundancy that we would like. into that situation. We also need more drones. Look, we can't even keep up with all of the very, very important jobs that we've got underway at the moment. It looks like the Fort Prefect has arrived though, so let's bring that down. We'll bring it down right here next to the other one. Got sort of depots and stuff set up. Let's just zoom in through the colony here as the Fort Prefect comes in to perform yet another textbook landing. Soft landing, it's don't panic motto emblazoned on the side for all to see, and our new transport rover has arrived with it. This is going to come in very handy. We can do all sorts of cool stuff with that, plus some more drones, fresh drones for our drone horde to do all of the droning that they need to do, all of the droning about the place. Generally looking super cute and awesome. I can rotate with this. It's very quick though. It's like we like move around really slowly, but we rotate super quickly, which makes like nice cinematic sweeps across the landscape that much trickier to do. Also, rather frustratingly, if I'm like zooming across the landscape here and I want to pan or rotate with the mouse, I have to click the central thing down, and when I do that, it starts to rotate off the mouse, off the key press instead of doing the mouse thing. So I can't do manual rotates. I mean, it's little things. It's little things like this that annoy me. They annoy me, I tell you. And they should annoy you too, but not so much that you don't return for the next episode when perhaps we'll be in a position to start constructing our first dome and maybe even bring in the first colonists. Plus, of course, we'll have to return the Arthur Dent to Earth because, well, frankly, we can't bring colonists if we don't do that, because we're not buying a new rocket, not yet. But until all of those things happen, thanks a lot for watching, everyone. I have been Weird Wizard, and I will see you later.